welcome back to my channel. Today is a hot topic video. We'll be focusing in on that PT1010 label maker, and drum roll please, margins. Seriously, this is my number one most asked question. How do I reduce waste tape? How do I reduce margins? How do I get rid of this tape? Yada yada. This one's for you. Today we're going to be focusing in on not only how to reduce label tape waste, margins, but also tabs, and it's going to be a jam-packed video, okay? I know all of your burning questions about to be answered. Let's get started.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you today is the tab feature. We'll access this by going function, arrowing over until we see tab, and we can go ahead and enter, and that's going to insert a tab. You'll notice that you have a tab there because you have a highlighted or darkened T. Now, if you'd like to edit your tab length, you can go ahead and hit function and arrow to tab length. The tab length, you would hit enter, and you can either do an auto tab. An auto tab is 1 inch. However, you can change this to any size that you would like with the either arrows or the keypad here. Now, a shortcut is if you would like to add in a tab without having to hit function and arrowing over to find tab, you would hit function 5, and that would bring you to tab. And then to increase the tab length without having to, again, hit function and arrow everything, you would hit function 6, and that would bring us to tab length. And then to get back, I'm just going to hit backspace. So that's how to add in a tab. So again, auto size for a tab is 1 inch, but you can either change that with the arrows or the keypad to change the size of your tab. And you'll know if you have a tab inserted in here because it will have a little darkened T right there. And again, to get to that quickly, I just did function 5 as a shortcut with an enter followed by that to input the tab. Now, when it comes to your label length, you have a variety of options, but we would go function, arrow to label length, and hit enter. And you can, now auto means, so say I was typing the word hello or watermelon, they have different amount of characters, meaning they would be different lengths. Auto is going to automatically adjust the label to fit the word that you're trying to spell. If you decide that you want to automatically put in your text either with the keypad or the arrows, it's going to change your word to fit that label. So for example, if I typed in watermelon and it naturally wanted to be a 3-inch label, but then I decided, nope, I want a 1.2 inch label, it's going to make that word watermelon very small to try to fit that 1.2 inch label. Now you'll get an error message if the word watermelon isn't possible to fit within that, and it will tell you that you need to size up. And then again, to do that, all we would do is hit function, length, enter, and auto is gonna, remember, auto is the label changes your label to the word, and then sizing changes your word to the label, and you can either change that with the arrows or with the keypad. And I'm gonna hit backspace to get back to my menu. When it comes to label length, don't forget you have the function for a shortcut, and you'd hit function 7, and that would bring you to length, and then you would simply hit the enter button, and then you can go ahead and select your options from there. And I'm hitting backspace to get back to my original menu.
Those shortcuts can really make a difference, right? Seriously, they're good stuff. Please don't forget to thumbs up this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on what we do next week, okay? Let's keep going.
Now, margins, I had to save the best for last. We'll go ahead and hit function, and we're gonna tab over, or arrow over until we see the word margins. Go ahead and hit enter. You have full, half, or narrow. A full margin is going to be 1 inch, half is half an inch, and narrow, I believe, is 1/8 of an inch. And a chain print is just when you have multiple labels all printing at the same time, one after another, and you have the option to either cut between or leave in a solid line. So full margin is 1 inch. I need you to keep in mind that there is going to be some label tape waste because inside this machine, there's an internal cutter that this has to pass in order to print. But I'm going to show you what it would look like with a full margin, half, and an arrow. Go ahead and we'll type in hello. And again, this is with a full margin. So this is a full margin on either side, and we'll hit enter, margin, and then we're going to arrow to half and hit enter again and print. Okay, now this is half margins, and you'll notice now it's, instead of being 1 inch, it's a half of an inch. However, keep in mind, you'll notice it's almost pretty identical, if not a little bit longer than this, because it's going to give you, okay, they want a half of a margin, right? So they're like, okay, well, we're going to give you half an inch on either side, but I still have to pass this internal cutter blade, and this is what that takes. And then you'll notice these two little dots. This is telling you if you cut along those measured dots, this is going to give you exactly half of an inch. Whereas if you already printed in a full margin, you didn't need that extra tape to pass through it, kind of all connected together. So if you think about it, this is a half. I'll just arrow at the ends. The half margin is almost the same amount as a full because it still has to be measured. To me, it's the silliest thing, but again, it has to pass that narrow tape or the internal cutter blade. Now, a shortcut for margins would be function 9, and that's going to bring us to margin. We're going to go ahead and enter. We've done a hole and a half, and I'm going to show you narrow. We're going to go ahead and enter and print. So again, function 9 is that shortcut to the margins if you don't want to have to arrow. And from there, you would just hit the enter button and select your preferences. Now this is narrow. Next to it, this is a half. This is narrow, so a half narrow and a full. So full, half, narrow margins. And you still, we're going to get that inch of a bumper on the side of this because that had to go past that cutter blade. However, you'll notice the narrow margin does still save about maybe an inch of tape compared to the full, and I would say a half-inch margin really doesn't change much. And then in theory, you would just cut along these dots, and then that's going to give you a perfectly measured tape.
Now, my only question I have for you is, what are you going to do with all that saved label tape? Seriously, if this helped even just a little bit, please thumbs up this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on what we do next. Seriously, I would really appreciate it. It helps me tremendously at work. Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye.